Okay, so what you need to do now is get your little piece of scrap paper and we're going to draw a flower on it. Now you can draw any type of flower that you like, but what I tend to do is draw a little hexagon, so that's the centre of your flower, and then we'll draw some petals just coming out from there. And this is probably one of the easiest ways to make your lovely flower. Now it can be any shape or size, but it needs to fit in your jar lid. So now what we're going to do is we're going to start cutting it. Now this might take a bit of time. I could put this on time lapse, but let's just see how this goes. Make sure you get all the petals. Why not experiment with other types of flower and shapes? So what other shapes can you do other than a hexagon in the middle? You could do a circle, you could do a triangle, you could do a square, you can do anything you like because it's your experiment. And always be careful when using scissors. So I'm using ones that aren't very sharp. Right, so now you have your flower shape, you just need to fold all these petals inwards. So as you can see, mine is very much rough paper because it's got some writing on the back, and that doesn't matter. Just use whatever you have because we don't want to waste anything. So we'll fold all these petals into the middle. Can you see that? Just making sure that I'm on camera too. And so now you have a tiny little folded flower. So we'll move that to one side for now and we'll bring in our jam jar lid. So we can use jars, we can use shallow jars like this too, so let me show you that. A jar like this, but jam jar lids actually work really well too. And then you need some water. So I've poured my water into a jug because I'm very messy. But if you can get water straight out of the tap to fill your jam jar lid well without spilling anything, then you can do that. So I've just filled it up to the top without spilling anything. Yay! Right, now we get our flower and we're just going to place that on the top. So it has to float. Sometimes you might find holding one of the petals easier to gently drop it on there. And now we just watch. Oh, look at that! It's unfolding! And that's like one of those lotus blooms that you see, or you know, water lilies. You see them on ponds and they bloom just beautifully like that. And look at it, it's moving. And look very carefully at the flower itself. What does it look like? What's happened to the paper? So why not, let's just take that out. So you can see that it's quite soggy. It's not like it was before. If I was to try and cut this, I'd make a little bit of a mess. Look at that. It's so easy to cut and it will be quite easy to tear too. Can you see all those paper fibres? So what's happening here is that the water molecules are travelling through the paper. So the paper's got lots of holes in it. We call that porous. So as the water travels through this paper, it starts to swell up. So the paper swells up, making it unfold into a beautiful flower. Right, now what you can do while you're here with your jam jar lid of water is to find other bits of material. So let me move this here so that you can see, look, I've made a mess. Oh, now look at that. You can see what's happened. So So what happened to the tissue? The tissue, and let's have a look at what happens to this brown paper. Let's put the brown paper here. So there's not much happening to this brown paper, can we see? What happens if we use card? Can you see the water rising up there? Let's see how long it takes for that water to rise up. So you can experiment with all different bits of paper and see what happens, including tissue, which is very porous, so it's got lots of holes in it and goes very soggy. So what would happen if you made your flower out of that